Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Bird's Eye View podcast, season 2, episode, what is it, 4 now?
4.
We're getting into the swing of things. Of course, I'm joined by Zach, aka Mienfa. How you doing?
Very good, very good.
And also club executive / club president, Mr. Luke Sovereign. How are you doing?
Good, you?
Very, very good. I'm feeling nice. It's going to be a little bit of a shorter episode. No interview today, but we're going to hop right into it as per usual, right into the recap of the week. A little bit of a rough one. One of our worst weeks of the year yet. So we'll start off with Luke with some Rocket League.
So Rocket League ended up going 4-1 this week. The only loss, which was their first game, was against Durham College, which was a 2-3 loss, so a close game there. Then they won 3-1 against West Virginia University.
Solid one.
Then they had a 3-0 sweep against North Central Technical College.
That was in the NACE playoffs as well.
Yep, that was round 16 of the NACE playoffs. And then, this is the game I'm most excited about talking about. They had a 3-2 win against...
How do you say that?
Oh, man.
Rensselaer Polytech Institute in the play versus regular season.
What?
Now, what makes this game so, intense, it went to the last 30 seconds of Game 5, where the Saints scored the only goal in the game.
I like the last game.
And then we had, the last game, last 30 seconds.
It's not bad.
Only goal. And then we had a forfeit win.
That happened.
So, thanks to the University of Waterloo.
I think Rocket League has had the most forfeit wins out of all the teams. Like they're like 5.
Based on what we've seen, yeah.
They're like 5 or 6.
To be fair, they do also play the most games.
Yeah, but
They play
I guess
5
that's
games a
right.
week.
But I think almost every team does a forfeit win though. But League and Fortnite.
You can't really have a forfeit win with Fortnite. So
yeah,
that's true.
That's what I was thinking.
Actually, I don't think Call of Duty has had a forfeit win yet either. So
so Call of Duty.
That's good, I guess. Yeah.
That means we get to play our matches.
It's true. Funny story about the forfeit win against Waterloo. There was a small little thread on Twitter about what happened. So Coach Ethan of the Rocket League team was trying to reach out for days, pretty much, to the University of Waterloo captain. So he reached out to him in about 10 minutes before game time, which I think was 7 or 8 o'clock. He reached out to him again, and the Waterloo captain finally replied, and he replied with "we dead," like we, and then DED, and then that was it. So the Rocket League team got a forfeit win because of that. I just thought it was a really funny story, but it's part of the problem that we talked about before with forfeit wins and club teams and whatnot. I just thought that was really funny, but it shows you the level of where club is at and where varsity is at right now. I just thought that was pretty amusing.
Yeah.
So moving on, Fortnite took home actually their second straight victory royale in as many weeks. So that's very nice to see. Still climbing the rankings. I'm fairly certain that would solidify them still as Canada's #1 team. Which again, still a great feat. They're doing a lot better, especially in recent weeks. Again, second straight victory royale, which gave them 110 total points for the week.
Just for that round, maybe.
Right. Okay.
For that one match of the 7.
Right. Okay, that makes more sense. So that moves them up to 41st out of 125 in the play versus collegiate league. So they're kind of in the middle of the pack, slowly climbing their way up. But Fortnite with their second straight win, it's definitely a good sign.
Yeah. I wonder how many Canadian teams there are in Fortnite play VS.
That's a good question, because you don't see really a lot of Canadian teams to begin with. But
like they could be
you know,
the only Canadian team, but wouldn't that make them the worst Canadian team as well?
that's,
No, it makes them the
that's a good
best
point.
Canadian
Something
team.
to think about.
Yeah, that's true. They're undefeated against Canadian teams, but also winless against other Canadian teams. So, anyways,
Interesting.
moving on to CS:GO. Zach, you want to take us through that?
CS:GO did not go well for us. 1-16. It happens. I think the school they played against had like some pro or like pro amateur guys on their roster, so they're generally a really good team. I don't think our team does have a pro or pro amateur guy on it, so just the experience that Iceland University had got the better of us. At least we got one round off them. I hope it was like the first round of the match or a pistol round, maybe. We'll see.
Yeah.
It was not good. Wasn't good to watch. I only watched bits and pieces, but
yeah, I can't imagine it would have been an entertaining match. But
no.
CS:GO, rough loss for them. We'll go over to Overwatch now. Luke, you want to take us through that?
So, Overwatch had, let's say, dramatic couple of games. First was a 3-0 sweep against Austria University, I believe that is.
Augustana.
Yeah. Against the UCEA in the UCA playoffs. However, then they got 3-0 swept by the University of North Texas in the UCEA playoffs.
Yeah, that was round 2. I took a quick peek at the bracket a few days back. It looked like North Texas was the number 1 and number 2 seed, so kind of an unfortunate matchup to meet them in round 2 of the playoffs. And obviously, like, as good as Overwatch has been throughout the year, North Texas just a more developed team and definitely just a better team straight up. But decent little run out of Overwatch. I believe that made them finish top 12 or top 8. So a good season for UCA Overwatch team.
Yeah. They did put up a good fight in that match against North Texas as well. They had some good plays, but they just couldn't get a win.
Yeah, like sometimes you see 3-0 and it's like, oh, they got slaughtered, but no, again, from what I saw, it seemed pretty close.
Yeah.
So that'll end the Overwatch team's run in UCEA, but a good finish regardless. Now, Zach, you can kind of take us through League of Legends next. It kind of a rough match for you guys. What happened?
We got O2'd, but our mental wasn't there. We were all a bit tilted going into it. Even before a match started, we were tilted for some reason. And then it just got worse to start the game. Our preparation wasn't good at all. We beat them in preseason, in the preseason match. And then they actually added 4 new guys to their roster. We didn't really know about that till the day of. Not like around the day of. We saw the whole roster. We saw the guys we played against before. And they're all the Grandmaster guys they played against us. And it's not like they stomped us. I think we just kind of hurt ourselves by how we prepared and were there mentally.
Fair enough. Yeah. So League of Legends falling 0-2 in their lone match of the week. So go now to Hearthstone, Luke.
So Hearthstone had a 1-3 loss against the University of Waterloo. It's really not too much more to say about that. They only played 1 game this week.
Usually Waterloo's pretty good. It's rare they forfeit against Rocket League, but they're normally a pretty good team for most of their games they have.
Yeah, they're starting to build their program pretty good over there.
Yeah.
But the Hearthstone team kind of been struggling a little bit the last few weeks, so that they'll be looking to bounce back next week, of course. Finally, we have Call of Duty. It was a wild weekend to say the least. TESPA playoffs, round of 16, 16 out of 64 teams, I believe it was. First matchup was against Bethany College. Had no VODs, no really idea what was going to happen in this one. They kind of surprised finishing 4-2 in the regular season. So we had them in the upper side of the bracket to start things off in a double elimination bracket. Did end up taking the 3-1 victory over Bethany, and it was capped off. Well, not capped off, I should say. In game 2, Corius winning a massive 1-versus-1 in the final round of Search and Destroy to clinch the game. So Bethany College, I believe they won the game 1 hard point. So they came out banging, but Saints Gaming answered pretty well and won the final 3 maps in a row to move on to the top 8. Sorry, top 8 to play Ottawa University Gold. So they would meet up with the Ottawa University Gold. Very intense match. The Ottawa University B team, this is, but still a very, very good team. They finished 4-2, I believe it was, or 5-1. So another very scary team. Found a way to get it done, however, back and forth series. Lots of craziness going on, but down to a game 5, found a way to clutch up and bring her home. I believe it was a 6-4 scoreline in that final map. So that would move us into the top 6 of the TESPA. So that was a big feat in itself. We finished top 32 last year in the College COD League. So this was an enormous accomplishment to get into the top 6. So then it was Ottawa University Black, their A team. They played them a few weeks back and honestly just kind of got pummeled. And to be honest, it was kind of the same storyline for this match too. It was a 3-0. No really close match at all. One thing I will say though, it was Swizz, actually the substitute for the Call of Duty team, played it in favor of Pressa. Pressa was unavailable on Saturday. So Swizz stepped in, played pretty well on Saturday, and just we decided that we'd stick with Swizz for Championship Sunday. Got 0-3'd and then went on to play Penn State, and this is where it kind of all went to hell because Dawson woke up on Sunday, it was for the Penn State match. Sorry, Ottawa University Black was on Saturday as well, so I apologize. It was Penn State was the only match we played on Sunday. Dawson woke up, turned on his PS4, and it showed that the game had an update of, I think it was 85 gigabytes or something like that, which actually wasn't supposed to be released until Tuesday, but for some reason it showed up on Dawson's PS4, and it prevented him from playing in the match. So Pressa had to step back in. We lost our IGL and really lost a lot of momentum and kind of got crushed by a Penn State Black team, which we lost to only 2-1 the last time we played. So really, really heartbreaking way to end the TESPA season. Definitely tough to watch. And, the guys were just a little bit lost without Dawson's leadership in game. And Dawson was completely crushed, as some of you might have seen on Twitter. So unfortunate stuff there, but top 6 nonetheless is pretty good for the Call of Duty team.
It's weird how there's an update that comes before it's supposed to be out for his computer or his PlayStation.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Happen.
Should definitely never have happened. And he called me up. He called me up yesterday. Yeah, it would have been yesterday. He's like, dude, I got a huge update. I need to come over to your house and play on your console. And I said, I was back home in Toronto for the weekend, and I'm like, dude, oh man, I'm so sorry I'm not home and my door's locked. Otherwise I'd say, yeah, go for it. But so he couldn't play, and it's just really, it's kind of a crapshoot on Championship Sunday. So unfortunate stuff there.
It's not good.
So moving on, we'll do our weekly MVPs. We'll start with Luke.
So my MVP of the week is Kamal of the Rocket League team. He's the one that scored that goal in Game 5. So congrats to him. He quite literally won that series for his team.
Yeah, he's been so good all year long. This Rocket League team is just something else, and he's a big part of it for sure. Zach, we'll go to you for your MVP.
I had his name, but I forgot it. He was the substitute for the Call of Duty team.
Swizz.
Swizz, that's what I don't know why I forgot that. I was thinking Swiss the whole time, like the cheese.
Oh.
He stepped in. I don't know how, like, he didn't put the team down. That's all that matters. If you're stepping in as a sub, you gotta perform or not go in there not to perform. So him doing what he had to do really helped the team win. I know they still ended up losing later in the night against Ottawa, or the Ottawa Black, but he still stepped in and did good for his team.
For sure. Swizz is also my MVP. For the first time, we have a double Call of Duty MVP. I love to see it. Swizz, congrats to him for having a really good playoff. Short-lived, but stepping in under the circumstances and honestly had a few really good maps. So congrats to him. He's mine and Zach's MVPs. And well, honestly, no interview this week, as mentioned beforehand, so we'll just step right into our kind of first topic of discussion. Luke brought it up actually before we started shooting, talking about pregame preparation for a varsity student, for a club student, or even for a pro. Luke, give me some of your thoughts on how you would prepare for a big match, or some of the varsity guys could prepare for a big match.
Well, I never actually played on a varsity team. So my experience comes from doing ladder in Pokemon in particular and ranked in League. What I found that really helped me as an individual is playing on a full stomach and making sure that I wasn't feeling cold. Because as you can see behind me, my setup's in the basement. So it gets very cold down here. So before I go into ranked, I make sure to at least put on a sweater, just so I'm warm and not cold. And what that does, it helps your mind react faster, and you definitely notice. So I highly recommend people to at least attempt that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, make sure you're warm, like not only in game, but externally too. You got to be, because there's nothing worse than playing with cold hands or cold feet. It is the absolute worst feeling in the world. Zach, are there any little weird quirks that you have, like preparing for a match, or is it just kind of like standard? Hop on, get warmed up, and get ready to
go. Stuff I do before a match. I do this weird thing. I learned it from Elvar. He's from Iceland. It's called the Iceland shake stretch. It's where you just go from your toes to your head and like shake them and twirl them around. Just get loose. I do that for every hockey game, for every match really, just to get loose. It helps you feel like get my nervous out. I'm always nervous for every match for some reason. It helps a little bit. I'll put some country music on.
There you go. Don't make that face, Luke. There's no country hate.
No, that's pretty much all I do. Shake it out. I'll do some jumping jacks. Our coach Yuri, he likes to say, just go do some jumping jacks, get your blood flowing. That's pretty much it. Just do that and get my hands warm by either like sitting on them or holding a hot cup of tea.
Yeah. So I mean, that seemed like, I don't know, that kind of stuff seems more for traditional sports, but even like that's kind of cool that even Yuri himself suggests get the blood flow and get the energy up, even if you're just sitting back down and hopping on a computer. So that's pretty cool.
The blood flow gets you warmed up as well.
Right. That's true too.
And you don't want your muscles all tense and cold. Like when you're playing games, you're still moving more than just your fingers. You're moving your arms, your brain's even moving. You want the blood flow to that also. Yeah,
for sure. But me personally, like I discovered I now have a pregame ritual because I haven't competed in a really long time. So this for me was kind of strange to get back into it. I remember the first match we played 4 weeks ago. We were all kind of nervous. We still didn't really know each other. We only had about 2 weeks of practice, and the energy wasn't really there. In the first in the first game, and I think that was part of the reason why we did lose. But that second match Sunday, for some reason, I felt like super amped up, and I just blasted the hell out of AC/DC in my headphones while I was getting warm for the game.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just really got me fired up, and I'll even I'll send a clip. You can play it in just a second, but I'm just like screaming like in the middle of the match. I got like a 4 or 5 kill spree, and I was just screaming. Oh my god, I was losing my mind. And I think that bringing and having a lot of energy is super important. Maybe not so much for a game like League, but more for FPS games, like to get amped up. I don't know. I can't really say.
I think like getting hype, getting excited, or like showing your energy is something that your teammates can leech off of, and that it'll get their excitement up as well. We want to be in a good mood. You don't want to be sitting there like, okay, let's go play some games, guys, and just get it done with. You want to get like, let's go. I'm excited to play with you, excited to win with you. Start moving,
Yeah, for sure. So it's definitely important to bring the energy. So it's cool even in MOBAs to have the energy, because sometimes I watching Worlds or whatever, like last year, I just see some of the guys, like a huge thing happens. I have no idea what's going on, but like something big happens, the crowd's going crazy, and then all the guys are just like sitting there like fist bumping. Good job, guys. Like, come on, where's the energy? But then you watch a game like Gears of War. I don't know if you've ever watched any clips of that.
No.
Those guys are absolute lunatics. Like, the trash talk is unreal, first off, but like the energy that they have is ridiculous. So, yeah, that's definitely something that's important. And Luke, you mentioned having a full stomach before a match. Does it matter what you eat? Because I know a lot of football players, hockey players like to carb load before games. Does it matter what you eat, even if you're hopping on the computer or Xbox?
It doesn't matter as much, because professional sports carb load, because that gives you that burst of energy fast, where you're not really expending that much physical energy, as long as you're not overeating or eating food that makes you feel sluggish.
Taco Bell.
Exactly. Like,
sponsor us.
Yeah. Shout out Taco Bell. I'm gonna go put my suit on and go try and get a sponsor for the Bird's Eye View podcast. No, but I find I think it matters a little bit, like you said, because you don't want to have a big fat greasy burger before a big matchup, especially if you want to get energized and ready to go. Carbs are always good. Carbs are always your friend when it comes to getting ready for something. What do you have, like a game day food, Zach? Or
yeah.
Oh yeah. What? Okay, wait. Let me see if I can guess. Is it carbs like pasta, like spaghetti or something?
No.
Ooh. Interesting. Not sure what it could be. Ari, what is it?
Just a bowl of yogurt with some granola and some fruits inside.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is
actually, I didn't expect that at all.
I did not expect that either. Yogurt, granola, and berries.
I did it for hockey as well.
Okay.
It's just something I always do before most matches, like the last 5 years.
See, I kind of that's why I asked you the question before. Like, do you have any weird like quirks before a game and stuff like that? So like, I kind of pegged you for someone who would have a pregame meal, and
I have a bunch of pregame stuff.
Yeah.
I got a bunch.
That's really cool. So I mean, food is definitely important. I think you had a really good point, Luke. Like, you need to have, not something like super greasy and sloppy to kind of bog you down, but definitely important to play on a full stomach, because even having an empty stomach is like a little bit of a distraction that you just don't need, right?
There's more than, I know you can try to win individually, but there is like team prep as well. Like you said earlier about VOD review, you didn't know much about that one opponent you had, but that's team prep. We can go check VODs if the other teams are playing. We can prepare, I guess, for you guys, like strategies, or for us, champions, Overwatch champions as well, heroes. Hearthstone pick their cards out earlier so they know what they're going into the game with, and hopefully get a better chance of winning.
Right. So how do you, like, what do you do like the day of a game? Do you guys hop in a call like an hour before or a couple hours before to kind of talk things over and get warm with each other, or do you just kind of hop on and jump right into it?
Generally, we want to try to be an hour to half an hour before our match this week. Some of us didn't do that, so then
Ooh,
our coach did get mad at us, and he's making it more mandatory that we be there an hour before, so we can talk
right.
about strategy, talk about what we want to pick, how we're gonna play the map, stuff like that. It just that'll give us a better chance of winning. It definitely, that's what we feel as well. We had a meeting about it afterwards. We're like, we need more prep, but it's also on us to be there for the prep also.
Right. So like, how important is it to kind of even hopping on an hour early? And Luke, I'll ask you, like, you know, even just talking over your stuff, but after that's done and over with and everyone's warming up, how important is it to kind of just be in the call with them, kind of joke around and prepare that way, just to kind of ease the tension?
Well, from my experience, it does help a lot. Because if you have someone like me who's a little bit more soft-spoken, what tends to happen is in tense situations, you tend to be quiet. But if you actually like warm up your voice and get more comfortable in the situation, you'll find that you're much more communicative. So for someone like me, it's very important in a team game to actually show up early and interact with the team.
Definitely, yeah. Just a little bit of banter between each other, I think, definitely helps. And speaking of banter, we'll just kind of segue into our next topic here. We talked about tilting and just burning out from over practicing, over playing. But like Zach, how are some ways you've kind of, because it's got to be tiring playing the same game over and over and over, especially at such an intense level. When you're competing, like, what are some things that you do to avoid kind of just burning out?
So usually when I play ranked, I'll do like best of 3 or best of 5 series. So like I'll play 3 games. If I win 2 in the first 2 games, I'll take a break. If I lose 2 in the first 2 games, take a break. But after 3 games, I'll take a break no matter what. So I'll like, go do a workout. Or I'll go just play with my dog, watch a movie, something like that. Just even if it's like a 10-minute break, I'll take a break. I'll go golfing. Just like little things, but just usually best of 3 series will keep you going to focus hard for these ones, and then a break afterwards. Just get your mental off of it.
Right. No, that's yeah. Breaks are definitely huge. So Luke, it's you're in a kind of a different situation, but even I think management, with you being president of the club and all, you have to overlook a lot of things. How do you balance that with your outside life and work?
Well, as far as the club goes, we do have a number of executives who all take responsibility for different things. And we do have weekly meetings to talk about stuff and what's going on in the club, the future events we want to have. So the club itself really isn't that much added stress. And like, we all have phones. Mm-hmm. I'm always like one message away.
That's cute.
So if I need to be if someone needs my input on something, I'm right there.
Right. So that's good. It's not overly consuming from the sounds of it. So that's definitely good. Me, I don't play. So it's kind of hard to say. I mean, for this year, we only practice once or twice a week, so it wasn't overly consuming. But at the varsity level, it's much different when you're practicing, every other day, and you got matches on those days off. And based on what I see, we had a player last year, who didn't enjoy the game, and it was just kind of each practice they would hop on and just kind of go through the motions. But it really was that was one of the bigger burnouts that I've seen, because off the start it was passion and willingness to play, and it just kind of turned into like, oh well, I guess I'll just get on practice, get it over with, hop off, play the match, hop off, go home, whatever. So that was a case that it sucks to see, and I really wish that there was almost a support group for players going through that. And I think that could be an idea maybe in the future. Even if students could maybe form a little society to help these players cope
Oh, definitely.
with fatigue and mental fatigue. So it really sucked to see, but I understood. And the biggest thing is, if you don't enjoy the game, then why
Yeah.
play it? Like
You should really
you're not
only
going
do
to
what
have
you
the
like.
passion. Yeah, like you're not going to have the passion. You're not going to have the willingness to learn and play. It's unfortunate, but it does happen. And being in college, I'm sure it's even worse.
I'm sure losing has a big effect on, I don't know if it's burnout, but just like kind of not really caring about the game anymore.
Yeah.
If you lose a bunch, you would not really want to play it as much. That's what my brother did. He kept losing ranked games, so he quit for a bit. He's back at it now, though. Still losing, but he's back at it.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, you talked about breaks, more so during weeks, but taking extensive breaks could definitely help too. And with certain games, you have off seasons to kind of recuperate. So that's one way you can do it. But I'm sure it does get tiring. So you have to find ways to cope, and it's really tricky balancing school work and school teams, even playing or managing. Like, again, Luke, I want to throw it back to you. Like, with the club, I know you said you're not overly overwhelmed with the club, but you got to balance that with schoolwork and your work. So, like, how do you do that? How do you manage that?
Lack of sleep, I guess.
That's one way.
But in all seriousness, I find allotting X amount of time a day for you to get what you need to done, as long as you give yourself a reasonable amount of time, you'll get everything done in that time. So, like, for example, we had an assignment that's actually due next week. And this morning, after our one class, I set out 3 hours and just to start and finish that assignment. And I used that whole time. I could have finished it within an hour and a half, but I was able to do a job I was happy with because I used that 3 hours I set aside. So setting aside time to work on projects, and in that time you only work on that project.
Something I need to do.
Yeah, I'm in the same boat. I find, like, when there's pressure to submit an assignment, like on its due day and it's due at midnight, I like to start it at 10 o'clock. Just so I feel obligated to do it, within that time frame.
Yeah.
It's a really terrible habit, but I mean, it gets the job done. So
yeah, we should probably
get 10.
We should probably
No,
close it up soon, so teachers don't hear all us talking about this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We're all very good students.
Yes.
Promise you. To all our teachers watching. Any final thoughts on, again, the things that we talked about? Some of the matches coming up this week. Any final thoughts?
I'm hoping a bunch of teams bounce back from their games. I know Cisco, Hearthstone League all lost all their matches. Just hope we have a better win rate next week, I mean.
Yeah. Luke, any final thoughts?
Actually, just a reminder that if the Saints Gaming win every single game, we will be doing the $25 Steam card giveaway.
Yeah.
So for that, all you have to do is leave a comment down below saying what you like about the show, something we can improve on, and if we get a clean sweep across the board, one lucky person will win.
Oh yeah.
Yep. Thank you for bringing that up. I completely forgot about that. But yeah, I think that's gonna do it. I think again, we want feedback. Did you like it without an interview? Did you like the shorter episode? Maybe potentially we could do flip flop between 1 week interview, 1 week not interview. Just let us know what you think. Any criticisms, any suggestions. If you have any ideas, throw it our way, and we'll do our best to work on it. Each week is an improvement. Each week is an adjustment. We're excited to be right into this now. Week 4. Rough week for Saints Gaming, 8-7 total, but we'll look to bounce back. Hopefully, go undefeated and give away some money, some cold hard cash.
Steam.
Steam.
Well, cold hard Steam card.
Hell yeah.
So, yeah, that's going to do it for us. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll see you next week. It's been the Bird's Eye View podcast.
Take care.